also tell you about a kind of magic which is known as sympathetic magic. So there is an anthropologist called Frobenius. He gives the report of a form of magic which he witnessed in Congo. In Congo, he witnessed a kind of magic. So he found a hunter. A hunter was tracing a picture of an antelope in the dust with his finger. So he was drawing the image of an antelope in the dust with his finger. Then he shot an arrow into its neck. And he returned from the hunt with an antelope killed in that manner. So for Frobenius, this was a living survival of magic used by the Magdalenian cavemen who some 15,000 years ago drew pictures on the walls of their caves and shot arrows. So as the marks of the drawings indicate, at vulnerable places of the animal. So if you remember the cave paintings or the prehistoric cave paintings, if you remember, you see so many images of that kind. So we'll look at an image which shows a cave painting. So sympathetic magic or contagious magic is what is done to an image of an animal or a man in magic is believed to be done originally to that animal or man. That is what is meant by sympathetic or contagious magic. So this is the explanation of Frobenius from his experience. There was no doubt that the assurance gained in this symbolic killing gave the primitive hunter a surer eye and a steadier hand. Maybe it's like doing a kind of practice through ritual, what he is going to do, and it gives him confidence. There is no doubt but that the assurance gained in this symbolic killing gave the primitive hunter a surer eye and a steadier hand. It gave the primitive hunter a surer eye and a steadier hand. So sympathetic or contagious magic, what is done to the image of an animal or man in magic is believed to be done originally to the animal or man. So it is a chief form of sorcery. And there is something called negative magic. Negative magic or taboo. There are taboos. So a manifestation of negative magic is the operation of restrictions of taboos. Taboo is a word that is derived from the Polynesian word tapu, T-A-P-U. It's a Polynesian word tapu. And the word taboo comes from the Polynesian word tapu. So it is a kind of the oldest unwritten law of humanity. There are taboos in the society, things that are restricted or denied. So Freud defines it as the objectified fear of demoniac powers. And in another connection, as a command of the conscience, taboo. So Freud defines it differently. The objectified fear of demoniac powers, or in some other connection he defines it as a command of the conscience. The violation of the taboo causes a terrible guilt feeling. Taboo is a series of socially and psychologically sanctioned restrictions on behavior. So what you are supposed to do, what you are not supposed to do, it restricts your behavior. So it is a series of socially and physically sanctioned restrictions on behavior. He who violates a taboo faces not only wrath of the community but his own horrified conscience. So somebody who is believing in a taboo, when he violates that, he faces the wrath of the community and also the horrified conscience also haunts him. So there is a French missionary report I would read. There is a French missionary report which says about the taboo. So after eating a meal at the mission, one child learned that a banana, a food taboo of his tribe, was one of the ingredients. So a child who was eating in the mission, who was eating a meal in the mission, he learned that a banana, which was a taboo for his community, for his tribe, was one of the ingredients of the food he ate. The resulting terror produced a paralysis of the respiratory muscles and the child died before the missionary's eyes. So understand, that was the guilt the indigenous people felt when they violated a taboo. So the resulting terror produced a paralysis of the respiratory muscles and the child died before the eyes of the missionaries. It has been reported. And another child, Another child was being slapped. A child was being slapped, which was supposed to be fatal to him. Receiving a slap during a scuffle, the child fainted. The child fainted because receiving a slap was considered a taboo. So the child fainted during the scuffle. And the life was saved only because a magician who could perform the necessary purification rites happened to be available. So when he happened to get a taboo violated unintentionally, a magician comes to his rescue. So it psychologically affects. It has a psychological impact on the people who believe in it. The indigenous people who are brought up in that particular culture, they are very much affected by it. Okay, so that is about magic, different kinds of magic, negative magic, sympathetic or contagious magic, black magic or sorcery, divination and magic in general, or magic for the good or beneficial effect. And there is something called sacrifice. Sacrifice is also as old as taboo, as old as the feeling of guilt and fear, as old as the humanity. Essentially, sacrifice is the appeasement of a higher power by one who fears hostility. So if I fear the hostility of a higher power, I offer a sacrifice for him. It may be also concerned with taboos, violation of which involves guilt feelings and dread of punishment. So sacrifices are also supposed to be performed in order to overcome such problems. And there is another concept I would introduce to you. There is a concept which is very specific of the Africans. There is something called Nyama. What is Nyama? Nyama. Have you heard the term before? Probably you may not have heard. Nyama. So Nyama is the superior life force. Nyama is the superior life force. And it is called Nyama among the Dogons of French Sudan. Dogon is again a tribe. So Nyama is a superior life force of a chief or a priest or a spirit that will destroy the taboo breaker's life force by unless appeased by sacrifice. So if I violate a taboo, the Nyama, which is the life force of a superior or the life force of a chief or a priest, it will destroy my life force. Suppose I violated a taboo. I ate a banana, for example, which is a taboo for my tribe. In that case, my Nyama or my life force will be destroyed by the life force of my chieftain or my priest. You understand? Unless appeased by sacrifice. So I have to offer sacrifice in order to appease the life force or the Nyama of somebody who is superior to me. This higher power or stronger life force is connected with an image of a parent from whom everybody experiences punishment as a child. It is a psychological explanation. We experience punishment as a child from our parents. So the higher power or stronger life force is connected to the image of a parent from whom everybody experiences the punishment as a child. And in order to appease the superior power, you need to offer sacrifice. And nowadays, human sacrifice is rare. Usually, animals, fruits, cereals are offered. Animals, fruits or cereals are offered. Nowadays, human sacrifice is very rare. So, we will try to understand what this Nyama is. That is actually a very interesting concept of the Africans. It is a vital force. So, it is a vital force of the offering is believed to be absorbed by the person or image to whom the sacrifice is made. So, the vital force which absorbs the image of means when a sacrifice is made, the vital force of a superior person absorbs it. The sacrifice is also thought of as expiation, thus the direct expression of guilt. In order to get rid of the guilt feeling, sacrifice is necessary. So, in addition to a relief gained by appeasing a higher power, the worshipper gains their inner peace through the absolution purchased through his sacrifice. So there is the concept of expiation. Anyway, we will be trying to understand Niyama much more later. We will come into that. So if I discuss on Niyama now, we may not be able to complete the lecture today. So there is one more thing concept we need to look at, that is mythology. So tomorrow we will look at Niyama in detail. It's an interesting concept.